Well, hey there, this is Tony with the Portsmouth Area Shipbuilding Company, and I am back again to talk about unpacking diesel pump. So today's question, we're going to get right into it, but before we get into the question, I always like to throw out at least my definition of diesel punk, and I define diesel punk as I've tried to do it where it's as easy enough for an 8-year-old to understand. That helps to make it simple, break it down, and for anybody to get their arms around it. So my definition of diesel punk, where it's as easy for an 8-year-old to understand it, is diesel punk is a method of creativity that combines the historic style of the mid-1910s to the mid-1950s and adds in sci-fi or fantasy or even horror. So again, that's my definition of diesel punk, and especially the intent is to make it as simple as an 8-year-old being able to comprehend and understand it. So let's get to today's question. Now, today's question is a question that you may have asked yourself, you may have heard, but the question is, why does it even matter? Why does it even matter that somebody cares about steampunk or diesel punk or atom punk or cyber, all of these different genres? Does it even really matter? Honestly, guys, I mean, in the big scheme of things, with everything that's going on in the world, no, it's not a life-threatening or life-saving thing. But when it comes to entertainment and things like that and creativity, here's why it does matter. It's really not for, and all these genres, all these different creative categories are not for the creator themselves, the illustrator or the author or the filmmaker, but they're mostly for the fan, for the audience member. Now, here's what I mean by that. For a creator to really create something that they really have a good feeling that the end person, the end user, the end audience, whether it's like for example, with me being an artist, the viewer or authors are looking for the reader, that person that they're trying to reach out and connect with. That's what we need, some type of parameters or guidelines or tools to really help make sure that what we create resonates with you. Whatever we create, we want to make sure that it's something that turns your crank, something that makes you get excited and that you want more. And so here's how it kind of helps. We know, for example, those of us that create something that's diesel punk related, we have a good understanding, a good feeling about our audience member, the people that we're creating for. For example, we know, and I fit into this category, and I think you do as well too, those that just happen to like diesel punk, whether you call it diesel punk or not. There's a group of people that are out there that, first of all, they get a kick out of sci-fi. They love sci-fi. They just happen to be an interesting group where not only do they love sci-fi, but they actually get a kick out of old movies, whether it's old war movies or film noir or things like that. But it's a unique group of people that like sci-fi, they love old movies. They're lovers, some of them are lovers of classic jazz, classic swing music. It's an interesting bunch, and I fit right into that category. They're big on nostalgia, and especially nostalgia that goes back to even past the 60s, back into the 50s, but even they're lovers of stuff from the 40s, even from the 30s. There's a group of us that kind of like that stuff. And just even the style and the fashion of the 30s and 40s. Again, they just happen to like action movies and superhero movies and science fiction. And at the same time, this unique bunch also happens to get a kick out of the style and fashion from the 30s and 40s. I mean, I'm a part of a group, and you guys maybe right here are part of a group that loves fedoras. So again, there's an interesting group that's already out there, and us as creators, our goal is to try to figure out how do we create something that really is appealing to that unique group. And so that's where these genres come in. That's where they help us out. They give us guides to, as we're creating something. For example, as I'm creating something, as I'm creating artwork that I really want to make sure I create for you, the lovers of sci-fi, the lovers of old movies, the lovers of classic jazz, and that type of fashion. The people that love a genre that just happened to have been called diesel punk. I have in my mind, it gives me some guidelines as far as the color schemes to use. It gives me some guidelines as far as, especially this is good for writers. Writers really, they get some insight on the dialogue to include in the book, even the slang that they should use. Things that they need to determine visually. For example, again, myself, the architecture that should be in the background. And especially this is important for filmmakers. Again, we as creators need to have some type of guides and milestones and metrics to really determine that if we're creating something, is it going to really resonate and really appeal to you, the audience member that just happens to love this type of stuff. And so, again, with color schemes for diesel punk, I know that as I'm creating something, I try to lean towards earth tones. I try to lean towards browns and especially olive drabs and things like that. Even look at the background here of my office. That fits and is kind of appealing to people that get a kick out of that genre called diesel punk. So again, it is not a big deal. It is not a life-saving thing. And so people ask, why does it even matter? Yeah, in the big scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. But when it comes to creatives and we're trying to really create something that you enjoy, then it is important for us so that we can stay within the guidelines and create the basics there that gets your attention and draws you in and have you coming back for more. We want to create that kind of stuff. So I hope that helps answer that question, that it's not a willy-nilly thing that, we say, you know what, you can call it whatever you want to call it. It actually does give the creators of this type of stuff, the creators of movies, the creators of novels, the creators of artwork, and especially even now, games and gaming. We need to have some guidelines in order to, yes, we still are going to be creative. We're still going to flow. We're not restricted, but at least gives us some key points and elements to work with that we know as far as starting points really excite you guys and turn your crank. So I hope that helps answer that question of why does it even matter when you're looking at a genre, especially a genre called diesel punk. So I hope that cleared up some things for you. One of the things I do want you to do is I want you to send me your question about diesel punk, because our goal is to help make this genre that we all love a little bit easier to understand. And I can't do that without your questions. So post your question here or send it to me directly with a direct message. And anyone that posts a question or submits the question to me, you are going to be in the running to win an official bicycle playing card deck of cards that is actually designed by the Portsmouth Airship Building Company. As you can see that they're on the back of the card. So I'm going to be giving this away this week to one of you that have submitted a question that we will entertain in one of our upcoming episodes. Till next time, I will see you then.